So now it's my honor to introduce Zeljana Zovko, who's a Croatian diplomat and politician. Since 2016, she's been serving as a member of the European Parliament for Croatia. She was just promoted as vice chair on the Committee of Foreign Affairs and acts as an EPP Foreign Affairs Vice Coordinator. She's a member of the working group of what the EP calls the Western Balkans, and for quite a few financial instruments and entities that are dealing with support for Bosnia and Herzegovina and Kosovo. She's had an extensive diplomatic career for Bosnia and Herzegovina as ambassador to France, Spain, and Italy. She got some great diplomatic posting over the years and has had a lot of experience as a permanent representative with UNESCO and WTO and FAO and WTP, and I could go on. She's won many awards from the communities. And Zeljana, thank you for joining us today. You're going to speak for about 5 minutes about the European Parliament. Then we've got the professor from OSTAR talking about some of the ongoing constitutional challenges with the Dayton Peace Accord. And then you're going to come back and finish with a quick update about the MOSTAR elections, which are really pivotal to some more multi-ethnic toleration and cooperation in a key city in Bosnia and Herzegovina. Zeljana, the screen is all yours.
Thank you very much, Steve, and thank you for giving me the floor. Thank you for inviting me to this very important conference that we are having today, marking 25th anniversary of Dayton Agreement. Today we have Josep Borrell, EU High Representative in Sarajevo, and he started his speech the same minute as you started your conference. And for me, it was a great pleasure to listen testimonies of the witnesses of the Dayton Peace Accords, as I was a refugee during these years in London, and I was a student in Sarajevo, and I joined later on in 1999 in Sarajevo presidency. I had the pleasure to get to know Richard Holbrooke, Madeleine Albright, Bill Clinton, and all the others, but my special the stories from these times goes to President Chirac, as I was ambassador in France in the time when we marked 10th anniversary of Dayton Peace Agreement. So I had this European side of the story. So I'll be brief, and I'll be direct in recounting what I'm trying to do here in European Parliament, in which I'm today. I'm sending you warm greetings from Brussels. As we are marking 25th anniversary of Dayton, we should really stop 15 and 20 years ago. Dayton, as it was initialed 25 years ago, today exists only in a name. It has been substantially changed through the back door starting some 20 years ago. The major casualty of these changes has been the third constituent community. Bosnia and Herzegovina Constitutional Court Justice Mato Tadić has documented more than 100 changes to election and representation aspects that were intended to disenfranchise the third constituent community. The tinkering or election engineering is seen most vividly in cases of Mr. Komšić, the second Bosniak member of the presidency, and of course in the election impasse in Mostar for 12 years. But to me, marking the anniversary should not be about reminiscence about the past, nor speculating about the immediate future, but about mapping out a new future for Bosnia and Herzegovina. This is very important for Croatia due to peace and security considerations. And now I'm referring back to the questions that your moderator has asked Croatia, because that's primarily peace and security consideration for Croatia. I can name at least 10 such reasons, but on the other occasion, hopefully. What I'm working on at the European Parliament is to start a lessons learned exercise there to see if there are better alternatives for the country 25 years later. Such an alternative would be moved from Dayton logic to Brussels logic. We should attempt to enable this country with a complex constitutional structure and equally complex past to achieve European solution and European standards and integrate into European Union within the shortest time possible. You must be really aware that we are going through a painful process of a Brexit, and as Peter Galbraith has said, mentioning this Northern Ireland peace agreement, Good Friday agreement. I just left London a year later after this agreement was made, and it has brought a peace in Northern Ireland and in UK. But now we are facing the new issues. What will happen if we have a hard Brexit? What will happen with all these EU citizens in Northern Ireland? And that's some of the questions that the American administration will address. And I think that new elected president will also address, as he has Irish origins. And also Croatia has 1,100,000 issued citizenship with double citizenship in Bosnia and Herzegovina. And for us, that's a major issue, as well as for Ireland is all these EU citizens that live in Northern Ireland. One of the documents I will be introducing in the exit report of the International Crisis Group from 2014. It is a fantastic early exercise on lessons learned from an organization I think everyone on this panel knows very well. They crafted and foretold the international community's policies for the country in the previous 2 decades. I think Mr. Granic will recall that the International Crisis Group, as well as Mr. Joseph and Mr. Galbraith, perhaps also all your interlocutors who have been involved in dealing with Bosnia and Herzegovina have been acquainted with the work of International Crisis Group, which was a major think tank working for the administration and for the OHR and advising American administration on the ground. It is very interesting to see their views on the mistakes made so far, and of the 5 options for the post-Dayton Bosnia and Herzegovina, especially considering the agreement, the anniversary of which we celebrate and which doesn't exist anymore in its original form. A first option would be that the political leaders revive the spirit of the initiative launched in 2008, initialed by several agreements, including the budget, census law, and First Amendment to Bosnia's constitution. The idea was that Bosnia and Herzegovina would have 3 levels of government: central, regional, and municipal, each with executive, legislative, and judicial powers. Secondly, the report proposes to cut the constitutional Gordian knot and to create a 3-entity structure by offering a separate entity to the Croatians and others. According to the ICG, there would be nothing wrong with the Croat entity, and it would solve many problems. The country would be a federation of territorial units, a design with many successful European examples, like we are having here in Belgium, where I live, and that achieved its constitution in 1993 and has all 3 equal communities and well-functioning states. The 2014 report describes the main obstacle for this option to the international politics, mainly the opposition from Bosniak sides. A third option is the development of the political communities into a formal basis for the government. The proposal is to replace the concept of constituent people with the civic nationality of the political communities. In place of 3 constituent peoples and others, there would be 3 equal communities: Bosnian, Bosnian Croat, and Bosnian Serbs. Each would be understood as inclusive civic identities open to minority residents. Bosnian national community could resemble Belgian language communities and might even be defined in linguistic terms, with language serving as a proxy for community loyalty and thus political orientation. This idea has one main problem: it does not match 2 entity structures. The final 2 proposals of the report are to either progressively abolish the federation and create 12 autonomous units, the 10 cantons of the current federation, Republika Srpska, and the district of Brčko, or to abolish entities and cantons and build a state anew with reference to community rights, protecting only individual rights. On another note, a recent development that might affect the future of Bosnia and Herzegovina is the outcome of the recent elections in the United States. In the European Parliament, I'm both a member, as you already said, of the delegation to Bosnia and Herzegovina, as well as of the delegation to the United States. Within these capacities, together with my role as a EPP shadow rapporteur on the US report, I follow development of new administration's policies on Southeast Europe with great interest. And I see this ground as a really starting ground to start rebuild our transatlantic relationships, because this is something that we are really lacking of. A renewed interest of the new administration in Western Balkan could lead to recalibration of the US role in the region, together with the strengthened European attention and investment of the United States can provide necessary impetus for the political leadership of Bosnia and Herzegovina to create a better future for their country. So basically, what I'm trying to do here is to raise the awareness on how we should not leave Bosnia and Herzegovina in the impasse in which it is now without proper election law. I'm also a rapporteur for Azerbaijan on the behalf of European Parliament, and the situation that we are seeing in South Caucasus it was highly worrisome, but we never took any decisive role in trying to find some solution for Nagorno-Karabakh. We have so many frozen situation in a vicinity of European Union. And as America has left this region and has left in any initiative to try to assert its influence or to try to work hand in hand with European Union is seeking for a strategic autonomy. Therefore, I'm saying that we must work on a real European solution for Bosnia and Herzegovina, because primarily for Croatia, that's a peace and security issue. And as Mate Granic has well said, we have two major disturbing actors in Bosnia and Herzegovina. That's Russia and Turkey. Turkey that we are going to have to deal with more in the future, but also Iran, that has a huge influence in Bosnia and Herzegovina with Bosnian community. So we should not forget that these are the areas that we must continue to deal with. And I will highly appreciate the cooperation from the American side of this issue. And thank you once again, because for us Croats in the United States of America, they are our biggest link and the best bridge between European Union and between United States of America, and the best promoter of European values and what it is important to rebuild the stable transatlantic relationships that we are looking forward to see in the future. Thank you.